Hey, Wade here. I'm going to show you how to change acoustic guitar strings and the 11 steps you should take when changing your acoustic guitar strings. Let's get started. Here's a list of the things you need. 1. A new pack of the right size of guitar strings. 2. A soft flat surface or guitar stand. 3. Your left hand. 4. Your right hand. 5. Diagonal pliers or side cutters. 6. Guitar tuner. 7. 1/4-inch guitar cable if you have a corded guitar tuner. 8. Paper towels. 9. A small glass of water. 10. A microfiber cloth. And 11. Most importantly, your guitar. Here's a list of the things you do not need, but these things will make changing your acoustic guitar strings quicker and easier. 1. A guitar peg winder or guitar string winder tool. And 2. Dunlop 65 Ultimate Lemon Oil. Alright, let's get started. Step 1. Get your guitar in place and start unwinding the guitar strings. You can lay your guitar on a soft flat surface or set the guitar on a stand. When unwinding the strings, I like to use this guitar peg / guitar string winder. It saves a lot of time and is really easy to use. Some string winders are a string winder, string cutter, and bridge pin removal tool all in one. If you do not have one of these tools today, that's okay, but I highly recommend that you buy one because it will save you a lot of time. If you're changing strings on a guitar where you have 3 tuning pegs on each side of the head, you might get confused about which way to turn the pegs. To make it easy for yourself, use one of your fingers to pluck the string while turning the peg. As you turn the peg and pluck the string, you should hear the pitch of the string getting lower and lower like this. Repeat this for each string until the strings are not wrapped around the tuning pegs anymore. Step 2. Remove the old strings at the tuning pegs. Once I can see that the strings are not wrapped around the pegs anymore, I like to turn the tuning pegs so that the ends of the strings are facing away from the nut of the guitar, like this. Then I use the side of my guitar string winder to push the end of the string through the hole while pulling the string with my other hand. Repeat this with every string. Step 3. Remove the old strings at the bridge. Now that each string is removed from the tuning pegs, remove the strings from the bridge. I will wedge this special side of the string winder tool underneath the bridge pin. Then I will pry up and out. If you do not have one of these string winding tools, you can also use diagonal pliers to remove the pins, but be very careful and gentle, as you do not want to damage the bridge pin, the saddle, the bridge, or the finish of the guitar when using the pliers. The bridge pin and string should pull out like this. After I've pulled the bridge pin and string out, I like to gently set the pin back into the hole that it came from. That way I do not get the bridge pins mixed up and I avoid putting the wrong pin in the wrong hole. Continue pulling out each bridge pin and string, gently setting the bridge pin back into the hole that it came from. Step 4. Throw out your old strings. Once you've removed all of the strings, coil them up in a circle like this, and then twist the ball ends of the strings around the coil and throw the strings in the garbage. Step 5. Clean the fretboard. Now it's time to clean the fretboard. If you have not changed your strings for a while, then you'll have some dark gunk that is built up on the fretboard. To clean off that gunk and get your guitar looking new again, grab a piece of paper towel and dip the corner of it in a cup of water. Then squeeze the paper towel together like this to spread the water throughout the paper towel. You do not want the paper towel to be dripping wet, you just want it to be moist. Ha, moist. Once you've got that ready, you will use a rubbing motion with the damp paper towel to clean the gunk off the fretboard. You can also use the same technique on the metal frets too. If you find that the paper towel is very wet and there's too much moisture on the fretboard, just use a dry paper towel to wipe off that part of the fretboard when you're done cleaning it. This fretboard is actually pretty clean. Once I've cleaned the gunk off the fretboard and the frets, now I like to use Dunlop 65 Ultimate Lemon Oil. Shake the bottle up and then dab the felt end of the bottle on each fret, just like a bingo dabber. Prepare to make your grandmother proud with your bingo dabbing skills. Now you should see there's a small wet spot in each place where I dabbed the fretboard. Once you make your way up to the higher frets, the frets get closer and closer together. At these higher frets, you can choose to dab only every other fret if you want. Now grab a dry piece of paper towel and wipe the lemon oil across the metal frets and the fretboard. This will give the nice final clean shine and smell to your guitar frets and fretboard. Step 6. Clean the body, the neck, and head. This is a good time to clean your guitar body, neck, and head while the strings are out of the way. While doing this, don't be afraid to tell your guitar how dirty it is. Simply grab a microfiber cloth and gently wipe down the guitar body, the neck, and the headstock to get rid of any fingerprints, dust, or grime. Step 7, inspect the nut, saddle, and bridge pins. Before you start putting new strings on, take a quick look at your nut, saddle, and bridge pins. Take a look at your nut, this thing right here. If you find you have one guitar string that keeps breaking over and over, that's not normal. That's a warning sign that there could be a sharp spot or burr on the nut, saddle, or one of your bridge pins on your guitar. It's easy to fix a sharp spot or burr using a very fine sandpaper. If you don't feel comfortable making this fix, just take your guitar to a repair shop. The nut, saddle, and bridge pins of this guitar look fine, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Step 8, install one string at a time. Now it's time to get some fresh strings on this bad boy. There are a lot of different brands of strings you can use. I like to use Elixir strings on my acoustic guitars. Ernie Ball and D'Addario are two other great brands of guitar strings. The most important thing is to make sure your new strings are the same size as your old strings. Unless you're planning on keeping your guitar in a different tuning, then use the same size of strings that your guitar had before. And if you just bought a new guitar and you don't know what size the strings are, ask the salesperson. Look up the model of your guitar online or try looking in your guitar case. I always keep the packaging from my strings with my guitar. That way I never forget which size and type of strings I put on the guitar. If you put a new different size of strings on your guitar, then your guitar might need to be professionally set up again. Today I'm using D'Addario strings because that's the brand of strings this person wanted installed. You can see on the package that each string has a different colored ball end. The brass colored ball end is the big E string, red is the A string, black is the D string, green is the G string, purple is the B string, and silver is the small E string. You can put your guitar strings on in any order, but I'm going to start with the big E string and work my way down to the small E string. First, pull out the bridge pin and then put the ball end of the string inside the hole. Next, find this groove in the bridge pin, right here, and place the pin into the hole so that the groove of the bridge pin is facing toward the sound hole, and the string is sitting in the groove. Now push the pin down until it feels secure, and then hold the bridge pin down while pulling up on the string. This makes sure the string is settled into the right position with the pin. Next, take the other end of the string and feed it through the hole in the tuning peg. Pull the string through the tuning peg until you have just enough of a gap to comfortably place your fingers between the fretboard and the string, like this. Now, while holding tension on the string by pulling it away from the bridge in this direction, I'll turn the tuning peg counterclockwise. While tightening the string, make sure that the string rests in the groove of the nut and make sure that the bridge pin stays straight and pressed down. Keep turning the tuning peg until it's uncomfortable to hold your fingers between the fretboard and the string. Then pull your fingers out from underneath the string and keep tightening the string until it makes a recognizable pitch. The string should be wrapped around the tuning peg 1 to 3 times. Don't worry about the tuning or pitch of the strings right now. You just want to get the strings in place and have tension on the strings so that they stay in place. Repeat this process for each string one at a time. This is where the string winder tool can really save you a lot of time. Remember that the bottom 3 tuning pegs will be turned the opposite direction of the top 3 tuning pegs. You want the big E string, A string, and D string to come up through the middle and then wrap around the peg like this. The G, B, and small E strings should come up through the middle and wrap around the peg like this. Step 9, tune each string one at a time. Once I've got every string installed in both the bridge and the tuning pegs, it's time to tune each string. This is just a quick tuning to get each string really close to the right pitch. Okay, now that I've got the strings tuned close to the right pitch, I'll use the diagonal pliers, side cutters, or the string winder tool to cut the excess part of the strings off. Make sure to leave some of the string poking through the tuning peg like this. That way you do not have to worry about the string popping out. Step 10, tune each string one more time. As you went through and tuned the strings one by one, each string probably went a little bit out of tune. Because of that, you should tune the strings one more time. Step 11, break the strings in. Now that you've got new strings on your guitar, you don't want to have to retune every 30 seconds. So what you need to do is break the strings in. To do this, I like to bend each string every 2 frets like this. Once I've done that, the strings will need tuned again. Once I've tuned the guitar again, I will bend each string every 2 frets one more time. Now the guitar is ready to be tuned for the final time, and after that, you're ready to rock and roll. If you enjoyed this lesson, look below to find out how you can get more free guitar tips, tricks, and song lessons to help you become a campfire guitarist or lead guitarist, or even help you write your own songs.